I bow to all the seekers of truth. What is truth? We do not know. We have our own concept about truth. With our mental projections, we think truth is that we are human beings, that we have to live on this earth, look after our children, look after the family, live well, and die. That's all. We do not know. The truth is that we are the spirit. That you have experienced yesterday, that you are the spirit. But we do not know also another thing, that God has created this universe and created you with very great care and with tremendous love. Truth is love, because that's the fact, that because He loved us so much, He really loved us so much that He created us on this earth and evolved us to this state of a human being. We take Him for granted, everything that He has done for us. We have no idea as to how much care He has taken to develop us out of the evolutionary process to this state of a human being, which is the epitome of His creation. When Eve and Adam made a mistake, they really gave a big trouble to the divine. Because if they had not made a mistake and had confidence and gratitude for the love of God, they would not have committed such a mistake, is to know about the knowledge. The knowledge which they wanted to know through their ego. Knowledge that they wanted to know through their efforts. Because of this simple mistake that they committed, we had to undergo all these processes. That's how we had to go through the evolutionary process, come to this state and become human beings, understanding that we have to become the spirit. But at that stage, if we had listened and had faith in God's love, we would have been much better off. There would have been no problem of evolution or anything, because it is very easy for God to create you as whatever way He wants. But He had to make you pass through all these evolutionary process through your own projections, through your own misunderstandings, through your own trials and errors, till you reach the state that is a human being. So now no more mistakes are to be committed. Now we have reached a stage where we can become the spirit. But here also, as the human nature is, that we always try to do things which we are not supposed to do. Moses came on this earth to teach us that we should not do these 10 commandments are not to be crossed over. He gave us the commandments that we should lead a life of balance. But it seems that the balance that He tried to create within us is being completely flouted, challenged, and absolutely given up by many human beings. They don't think it is necessary to have those 10 commandments, which were to maintain our valency in our being, so that we can ascend. Because without the balance, we cannot ascend. That's a simple thing we must understand. We do not understand many things, but we must understand one thing simple, is that without a balance, we cannot ascend. If you have an aeroplane, if it has no balance, it cannot ascend. In the same way, you have to have that balance within you. Then people tried to teach the balance in various types of their incarnations, various types of their manifestations. But whenever they tried to do something, people just did the opposite of it. as I told you about Christ, how they never listened to what he said and started a very organized religion, paying no attention whatsoever to self-actualization or self-realization, which he talked again and again. And those who tried to use that self-opinionated themselves and said that we are twice born. Like that, we have been deceiving ourselves all the time. Because you must know, this intellect has a capacity to cheat itself. It can cheat. It can give you explanation. Be careful about it. That it is so sharp that it can cheat you. It's like a computer which is, if it's overgrown, it can destroy us. In the same way, our own intellect can destroy us and give us wrong ideas by which we really try to destroy ourselves day by day. Under these circumstances, one thing one has to remember, that God Almighty has loved us. In His love, He has created us. He loves us. He is the Father who is the last word as far as the Father's affections are concerned. He is the greatest of greatest compassionate Father who wants you to enter into His kingdom and enjoy the bliss of His creation. He has not created you just to be wasted, to be frittered away, to be thrown away, to be in the hell all your lives. He has made you to respect you, to love you, and to give you what you deserve. The problem is we do not believe in ourselves. We do not love ourselves. How can we then love God who has created us? This is the biggest problem. And when we love ourselves, we become really selfish. And when we become selfish, we destroy ourselves more. Because that is like love-hate relationship, I say. That actually you hate yourself to be selfish. Because selfishness one can never enjoy. It is a joyless pursuit. That's why one has to understand that first and foremost understanding should come to us that God has created this universe, the whole thing, for us. And He has created this beautiful instrument within us to have our second birth, to know Him, to know His greatness, to know His powers, and to be the master of those powers that He has. Any father or mother is always happy when he can give away all that he has. So this is why we do not rely on him. We rely upon ourselves. But as long as we rely upon ourselves, we live in the realm of cause and effect. We cannot get out of it. We cannot jump out of it. To jump out of the realm of cause and effect, one must first of all know fully well that it is God's love. In any case, He is going to save us. He is going to look after us. He is going to worry about us. Believe that He exists as a living God. It is very difficult for an ego-oriented society to accept such a concept that there is God still living when science says there is no God. What is the limitation of science? We do not know. I was myself studying medicine and I was surprised they had no idea about parasympathetic nervous system. They cannot explain many things, so many things they just cannot explain. Whatever they see also they cannot explain. We really cannot explain otherwise also anything. If I ask you how a flower is made like a rose on a particular tree, can you explain? If I ask you how seed sprouts when you place it with the Mother Earth, can you explain? Can you explain any living thing, like we can say a child who is an Australian will be born to an Australian? Who does all these different kinds of choices? Who works out all these things? Thousands and thousands, millions and millions and billions and billions every year, every time. What is that power? Let us open our heart to that great power that is the love of God. We, in our ego, have become so small that we have denied His powers and we do not want to accept that He exists. This is a very wrong thing. Of course, to add to that, as I said, there are so many fake people in the name of God. There are so many fake organizations. There are so many fake theories and ideologies and philosophies that a person gets really surprised that these people talk of such big things about God's love while they are so selfish, so low, so narrow-minded. How can these fanatics be near God? So they should not malign the name of God, because whatever is wrong is wrong. But they are using the name of God because that name is such that it is so pure. Anybody who wants to do something wrong always takes up a role of a very saintly person, because then only he can hide that ugliness outside. So we have to understand that the love of God within ourselves, which works out beautiful things, also works out this realization. It is He who works out this realization. It is not that we are working it out. It is going to be worked out by His power, because He wants you to enter into the kingdom of God. The kingdom of our God in our being is in the limbic area, as you see here, on top of the Agya Chakra. This is the gate of Christ, and beyond that is the kingdom of God where we have to enter. This Kundalini has to enter there. And when she enters that, through it, it pierces and comes out into the subtle, gets connected to the subtle, and then you start feeling the all-pervading power of God's love. That's the compassion. It is the love that is God, that is truth. But you will be amazed that this power has all the powers in it embedded. For example, it has all the powers which we call vital powers, or Prana Shakti, which is on the right hand side, Prana Shakti, by which we exist, by which we act, by which we work out all our desires. And on the left hand side is the power of desire. That is also in it. That's why when you become that power, then what happens? Your desires are automatically fulfilled. You don't have to desire even. Without desiring, you will be surprised that you have to have something, it comes before. It can be explained if you see the lives of many great men. They lived with very little things, but they were such satisfied souls, and they never bothered about what is going to happen to them, how they are going to be fulfilled, how things are going to work out. They never planned all these things. Everything came their way and they did it. They knew what was going to happen, what was their purpose of life, and what they had to achieve. For incarnations like Christ, He knew He was to be crucified. He knew He had to be that, because this narrow gate has to be crossed. And that has to be crossed only by the energy itself, which we call the energy of Pranava, the energy of Chaitanya, the energy of Logos, as they call it, Ruh, is the energy which is just a sound, what we call as Omkara. That energy it was which came on this earth, and that's why He could walk on the water. He could walk because He was just that energy, and He could walk. He had no problem about walking on the water because He was just an energy forming a body. That is the reason also He could resurrect, because He was just an energy. He was not matter. Because He was matter, He could resurrect. And this is one thing was said by Sri Krishna before Christ came onto this earth, that this energy does not die. It cannot be killed. It cannot be perished. It is eternal. And this eternal life came on this earth as Christ, as described by Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna was another incarnation who did so much to our awareness that He developed this center within us, which we call as Vishuddhi Chakra. I need not today tell you about all these incarnations, how they are related to each other and how they work it out, because you will find out from the books and other Sahajogis all the details about how they work out, how they are joined together, how they are one with each other, how they are in concord, and they have no problem about it. And also about all other angels who reside within ourselves. Now, for example, on the right-hand side, you see the yellow line. This is where the angel we call Gabriel resides. Is called in the, let it be, it's all right, they can see. which is called in Sanskrit as Hanumana. That is on the right hand side. The left hand side power is looked after by another angel whom we call as Saint Michael, and in Sanskrit he is called as Bhairava. All these exist there. Now if I say that somebody exists, say here Vishuddhi Shri Krishna, or if I say that Christ exists here, how are you to believe? We have to now prove it, and you can now prove it by Kundalini action. When the Kundalini rises, you didn't feel the rising of the Kundalini because there was no obstruction. But now you will gradually find that Kundalini will again settle back and you will start feeling your obstructions wherever you have. That's why at least a month is needed for you to release the energy in such a way that the Kundalini really gets fixed up and you get established. Now when the Kundalini rises, then supposing it is stuck up here, then you have to say the Lord's Prayer, whether you are a Hindu, Muslim or a Christian. You have to say the Lord's Prayer for this Kundalini to go up. Supposing it is stuck here, then you have to take the name of Sri Krishna. But only a realized soul can do it. If a non-realized soul takes the name, has no effect because you are not yet connected with those deities. So many people who just go and pray to God, oh God, do this for me, oh God, do that for me, always go on ordering God, must know that God is not in your pocket. You have to enter into His kingdom. Say now you are in the kingdom of New Zealand. So your government is looking after you. In the same way, when you enter into the kingdom of God, then only He is going to look after. Only by praying to God or saying do this and do that, why should He do it? Because you do not have the connection with Him. You haven't done the protocol of meeting the divine within you. And when that works out, when that divinity starts working in you, then you are amazed that how powerful you are, how many powers lies within you, and how you become a great personality. And this is an actualization. This is a reality which must be established. It is not that you can just believe what I am saying or talking, but you can see for yourself that it works. It works. It not only works, but it establishes your complete faith in God. And this faith in God is not a blind faith like people talk about God, 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 and there is nothing to be known about. Every word that I have said, you can verify. For example, if you put your hands towards me and ask a question, Mother, is there God? Ask the question 3 times. If you are a realized soul, you will get lots of vibrations just like a computer. But supposing you ask a question about a person who is not good, who is not godly, is that person a saint? You might even get a little blister on your hand. It's so much there that your hands really start speaking, but you have to master the technique. You have to master the technique, and which will take not more than a month, as I said. It's not a course, but is a state of mind where you reach. So as self-realization takes place, what happens? First of all, you know about yourself. Yourself means your centers, first of all, to begin with. That is, you start feeling your own centers. You start understanding what's wrong with you. For example, if somebody says, Mother, it's wrong here, something, that means the person has ego. But he won't say that he has got ego. What he says, Mother, my Agya Chakra is catching. If he says, my Agya Chakra is catching, means his ego is overlapping. So you have to turn the Agya Chakra and the ego comes down. When we do not forgive others, it is because we are adamant and we are in an ego state. But supposing we forgive that person, ego just drops down. Because we have a hurt ego. We are hurt by a person, our ego is hurt, it is bloated up, and we cannot forgive because it is too much. We cannot bear it. But if you just forgive, the whole thing drops out and you feel absolutely relaxed and you start feeling the vibrations, the cool breeze on your hand. This is what is the first thing that happens to you, as Dr. Warren has told you, that you become collectively conscious. Means you become Again, to understand the word become means that on your central nervous you start feeling the vibrations of another person. Now the person who is not a realized soul, if you ask him to put his hand on your head, he won't feel the cool breeze. But a person who is a realized soul has developed that experiencing power on his hands, he can feel the real cool breeze. Maybe sometimes a person who is not realized, who is a sensitive person might feel. But the amount of feeling the person who has experienced the self will not be discernible in a person who has not got realization. Now this feeling that we have of the vibrations is related to the truth. So now, in the beginning, as I told you, I had 7 hippies and one sensible man with me in England for 4 years, and I was struggling with them. And this gentleman, who was a sensible man, was very much a doubting type, a doubting Thomas. And he said to me, now he's a great Sahajogi, but at that time. So he said, all right, mother, I want to know what's wrong with my with my father. So I told him, it's very easy, you just put your hands like this and ask the question. He asked the question, what's wrong with my father? And he got a burning on this finger here. These are the centers of your father, all down with very bad bronchitis. This was my sentence. He telephones to his father. The mother came on the phone and she said, your father is down with very bad bronchitis. He was so amazed. You see. He said, now what to do? I said, you can cure him. There's a way. So we have a way of giving vibrations to that center of his father, sitting down in London when the father was in Scotland. After half an hour, the father got up from the bed and says, I don't know what has happened. I'm feeling perfectly all right. So he just laughed, and that's made him understand that there is a telecommunication which we cannot see in the universe, which works out things. But we have to be there to do it for things, and we take it for granted. But if you show it to a villager, he cannot believe it. And when he will see it, he says, it's very fantastic how it is happening. But you have to put it to the mains, otherwise you don't see it. In the same way, you are to be put to the energy mains, and so that you start feeling, you start getting the full answer to your questions. But the best part of it, that if you see, say, a television, now you watch some television, some drama, but you don't see that and do something to you. But here, when you just project your attention to anyone and give it a little protection, you are amazed that these vibrations act on that person, as if the actors come out of the television and try to help you out. It's so wonderful as that, and it has happened. It is worth trying. You have those powers. You know that our powers that we know as human beings are so limited, are so little, like an iceberg, which is a very wee bit comes out, the rest of it is immersed inside. In the same way, our own powers are immersed. So the power of collective consciousness, that one gets. And it is to be practiced, to be understood in its all aspects and dimensions, become part and parcel of the primordial being. If you become part and parcel, if my hand, if supposing my finger is paining, I rub it off and it is all right. No obligation to it. It's my own finger. When everybody is a part and parcel of your being, who is the other? If you are helping somebody, it's not you are helping yourself, because it's you who you are helping. So the idea of ego doesn't come that I have tried to help this man, I have tried to do for this man, I have done this for him. None of these ideas. And the other one also doesn't feel that kind of a burden of obligation. So what will you pay? What will you pay to this finger if this hand rubs this? It's just automatic and just your own. That is the expansion of your being. That's the expansion of your heart. That's the expansion of your awareness, of your chitta, as they call, of your attention. Attention becomes so much expanded. Like my granddaughter, who was only about 4 years of age, and we had taken her to the airport, and she was very busy like this. So we asked her, what are you doing? Her mother couldn't understand. So she said, I'm trying to tie up these people. They are very scattered brains. I'm trying to tie up their brains. It's very scattered brains. All of them are running up and down, which is a fact. And she was so busy, and nobody could talk to her because she said, I'm busy just now. Don't talk to me. I'm very busy. And a child like that age could say all those things. And the truth is so evident in their minds. Another child of mine, who is a grandchild, who is another realized soul. All my 4 grandchildren are born realized and tremendous people. So she went to Ladakh once, and there was one Lama fellow. These Lamas are another hoax. And he was sitting there with a big dress. Everybody was touching his feet, and because after all everybody was touching the feet, so my daughter and son-in-law felt embarrassed. They also went and touched the feet. She couldn't bear it. She couldn't bear that. She went and stood before him with her both hands. She locked them at the back, and she stood up and she said, what do you mean? Because you are wearing this big dress, we call it choga, it's a big dress, and because you have shaved your hair, you think you are a realized soul. You are not. You have no business to ask people to touch your feet. Such a little girl like that stood up. And once I remember another time, we had a big program in India when there is a master who died. I think you must have heard his name also, Raman Maharshi. And on his death, they invited me as a chief guest. I was to speak. But we had other horrible people also there, somebody from Ramakrishna Ashram and this and that. They were sitting. So one fellow with the Ramakrishna Ashram was wearing a red robe and sitting there. So one of my son-in-law, my son-in-law and other people were in the group. They were sitting on the first row, the grandchildren. And suddenly one of them got up and he said, grandmother, please ask this man in the maxi to get out. He's giving all heat to us. And everybody smiled and laughed, because there were many Sahajogis there who came and they just understood it, that get rid of this fellow with the maxi out, because he's too much of it. And this fellow thought no end of himself, you see. He thought he was a great man because he was wearing a maxi in that color, and he was giving a big lecture without understanding what he was talking. Just he was going round and round the bush without knowing that he's not even a realized soul, and he has no business to talk about God. So the children who are realized souls are today born in every country. I know I saw the other day going through the market, there are many children who are born realized. But if the parents are not realized souls, they will never understand their children or their grandchildren. And it may be that you may really destroy their sensitivity. So it is important that the elders must have a full understanding of their children, the next generation, which is going to be very powerful. You will see these children when they will grow, they will understand Sahaja Yoga and Kundalini so well that you will be amazed. For example, a child puts his finger or a thumb in the mouth, people say it's something to do with sex, as Mr. Freud was nothing but a sex point. He was not a human being even also, I think. So it's not the case. The child, if he's a realized soul, he's pointing it out to the chakras. If a child comes here, he's a realized soul, and if somebody is suffering from a particular trouble, he'll immediately put that particular finger in the mouth. Even if you have 10 children and tie up their eyes and ask them, what's wrong with this fellow? They'll put out one finger or 2 fingers, whatever are burning, because it is such a actual experience of that person's chakras, and they will immediately say these two are burning or these 3 are burning, and all of them will say the same thing. So it is the knowledge of your own central nervous system. It is not a knowledge which is given to you in your brain or just to be pushed into your ideas. It's a factual thing that you know. Like you all know this is wood. All know this is wood, made of wood. In the same way, you will know the truth, because you become absolutely the absolute. The absolute. You know the absolute. There is no more any relative world left. You don't live in the relative world. This may be good and that may be good. this could be all right or that could be all right. That doesn't come. Whatever is good, whatever is bad is bad. You don't have to even think of temptations. Your temptations drop out very fast. All your habits drop out very fast. For example, Brian himself, who spoke first of here, was a smoker and used to smoke a lot, and he had a very bad trouble with the smoking. And next day he dropped his smoking. Next day, you won't believe, he dropped his smoking. He had other problem that he had crutches and he just could not walk even an inch without the crutches, hanging onto the crutches like that. Only with the crutches, he could not move his legs at all. Today he's standing on his legs and you see he is walking. This, I did not do anything. It just worked through the power of yourself. Yourself itself cures you and gives you powers to cure others. But in the beginning, you don't have faith in yourself. Even if I say that you can cure others, you will not cure. This is a big problem, that one doesn't assume the powers that they have, doesn't believe in it. Once I was traveling by a ship, and there was the captain who got his realization. And they told me that there's one fellow who has got pneumonia because he entered into the freezing room. They have a freezers, just like a room. And he entered into it suddenly, so he got pneumonia and he was gasping, and they had to send an SOS to get some doctor. So I told the captain, I can go and cure him. He said, no, mother, why should you go? After all, you see, I was the wife of the, owners, this thing and all that, so they found it was too much for me to go down 4 or 5 stories to the freezing room to save this fellow. So I said, all right, Captain, you are a realized soul, why don't you do it? A simple thing, simple method I tell you, and he'll be all right. He said, how can I? I am just, yesterday only I got my realization. How can I? I said, all right, now he's going to die if you don't do it. So please try. If it doesn't work out, I'll come down. So he went down. Out of that compassion, he went down. And he came up laughing, Mother, I've cured him. He's all right. I said, now, please believe that you are now a yogi. You are a realized soul. We do not believe in ourselves. We doubt ourselves more than anybody else. And this is the biggest problem, that we want to have a guru because we think, all right, we'll believe in this person. He goes to hell, we go to hell with him. If he goes to heaven, we'll go to heaven with him. Pay some money and have somebody on whom we can rely. But now rely upon yourself. Stand on your own feet. Because you are the enlightened ones. You are the Buddhas. You are the ones who have achieved enlightenment. Don't depend on anybody else. There is no guru needed. You yourself can know through vibrations what has to be done. Like one gentleman who got his realization, he had no job. So he said, Mother, what should I do? I said, why don't you become an interior decorator? He was quite surprised. He said, Mother, I have done economics, but I have never done this. I don't know a wood from another wood. What am I to do? I said, just see vibrations and do it. And he became a very rich man. He'll be coming now to Australia to join us in Sydney. But this is what happens, that once you have vibrations, immediately you know what is to be done, what will create the right thing for you. This is absolutely easy to do if you assume your powers. But if you are defiant, oh, how can I do it? It's better Mother does it or somebody else does it. Then it doesn't work out. But if you say, all right, I am a yogi and I can do it. You see, these gurus are not even realized souls. Some of them are coming from jail. They have no bona fides. They are horrid people. And imagine what organizations they have built. Thousands and thousands of people, just like this. A servant coming out of some place becomes a big guru in Germany or somewhere, earns 59 Rolls Royces. What do you say to such a thing? Because they are bumptious. You are not to be bumptious, but believe that now you have got your powers. And when you have your powers, use them. Because that's the greatest joy, when you see your compassion working it out, when you see people get their realization. Every realization you feel as if you have made one flower into a fruit. And you feel so surprised first at yourself and then at the divine grace that He has made you so great and you have been not aware of it, that you can do living work. these vibrations, when given to the plants, supposing the plant is dying, like in Geneva, we have a very beautiful ashram where they had a tree which was dying, and they were about to cut it out. They said, let's try the vibrations on it. And when I went there, the tree was lush, beautiful. But best was they had such huge, big cherries for me to eat. And this was the first time, they said, when we gave vibration, such big cherries came, and so many that there were at least 500 people altogether. We all ate and ate and ate, and it would not finish. And I like cherries. And they said, Mother, you better take it with you to England. I said, that's too much now. He said, still they are not going to finish, so better take some of them with you to England. Especially Switzerland is a place where they don't grow very big cherries. But such big cherries, you see, I have some cherries that you will say, we have never seen such nice and tasty cherries. I have told you, if you give these vibrations to anything like a vegetable, plant, or any crop, the crops multiply in its production. Not only that, but the crops are not hybrid crops. Without giving any fertilizer or giving any using a hybrid thing, you can use just the ordinary seeds and can work it out. Now what has happened, by the use of these ordinary seeds, the seeds have become weak, and that's why we have to have hybrid things, artificially strengthened seeds. But when you give vibrations to these crops, what happens, that these crops get the vital energy within themselves, and they become like original ones, and they start producing tremendous amount of grains. There is a university in Rahuri where people have experimented in the agriculture field. I was told that New Zealand is an agricultural land. We have not to play into the hands of any big organizations who are selling us these hybrid seeds which cannot be used. If the plant even gives you any amount of seeds, we cannot use them for replanting. But the seeds which are natural, if you vibrate them and put them in the soil, you will be surprised. You will get, sometimes the results are at least 10 times more. One gentleman in Austria has experimented with that, and he has shown pictures and photographs, and we have sent them to India. India is a better country to understand Sahaja Yoga, because even the government understands, even the public understands, and everybody is helping us very much. In Delhi University, we have got a PhD. After doing MBBS, they have to do PhD, a doctorate in Sahaja Yoga. Even in London, we have got in Cambridge a subject called PhD in Sahaja Yoga. This one also thanks to some Americans' efforts that in American University they have also accepted in New York. So you can imagine how far it has gone in some places as far as the scientific understanding of Sahaja Yoga is concerned. But the basics have to be first understood. If you understand the basic, that it is the compassion of God that works it out, and that we have to be compassionate people. I will tell you, as you see today, Dr. Reeves, he was a very influential man. He's done PhDs in 3 subjects, and he's also a doctor, and he was a diplomat, and this and that. And when he came to me, he was riding a very high horse. But after realization, he's so changed. He's become such a beautiful person. He's so changed. All his temperament, everything changed. He's such a nice person now that people can't believe he's the same. You change in such a way that you become a personality which is magnetic and loving and affectionate, patient, tolerance, and peaceful personality. Now also we are having some schools. Even in Australia we have a school for children, and the report of the school was thus that the children are extremely peaceful, extremely obedient, and very disciplined. They will not take to drugs, they will not take to wrong things, they will not do thieving. We don't have to tell them. They have no temptations, they are satisfied souls, they are not going to nag you, they are not going to bother you, they are going to look after you, and they are going to respect you. This is what comes out of Sahaja Yoga schools. We are having schools even in Switzerland and everywhere. We have schools for such children, and it is amazing how the children are. They are beautiful children, extremely beautiful. As the human beings become beautiful in their own glory, they rise the children also. And children really are remarkable, remarkable people. If you see them, you'll be amazed. Everyone you will find is a saint and talks like some great saint like Kabira or Nanaka. They talk so big. We cannot understand how these little things have so much of sense. For example, one more thing I'll tell you about my grandchild, which was the youngest. She was about 3 years of age, and she told her mother, "Mother, you are now practicing homeopathy. You were born in allopathy, then you practicing homeopathy, then you will practice jumbopathy, then will be combopathy. But I will never do all these things because I was born in God and God will cure me and I'll live in God." So she said, "Why not you?" The mother said, "Why not? You may also change." She said, "How can I? Because God never changes." What a fundamental understanding about life. And this is what happens. And even a ordinary fisherman you meet who is a realized soul, if you meet an ordinary bullock cart driver, once I was going with a bullock cart, on a bullock cart, and he was talking, I felt this is some great Markandeya or some great William Blake is talking to me. Such beautiful things he was saying. So I said, "How do you know all these things?" He had never been to a university. He said, "Why? I know because I know God, because it is all in my brain, it all comes to me." So all the subtler things that are in your brain come to light and you become really a very subtle personality. But first of all, you must assume the power. So you become collectively conscious. Your attention becomes collectively conscious. Then you become the truth. Because you know the truth, you become the truth. You cannot tolerate anything that is not the truth. All falsehood drops out, all corruption drops out, all kinds of funny things we do out of insecurity drop out, our health improves. So what happens to us that we become a personality who has got the truth within, but we are very humble. We are extremely humble. We do not want to push people into it. We do not want to force them anything. But we see the truth clearly. As a witness, we know this is the truth. And nothing can disturb us. As in the life of Christ, you see, he saw a prostitute being stoned. Now, Christ, a saint, a great divine personality, had nothing to do with a prostitute. They have nothing to do. But when he saw a prostitute being stoned, he stood up with the truth. In his strength, he stands up and he says, "Those who have not sinned can throw a stone at me." And nobody did that. Because he knew the truth, they could see the strength of truth. All great men of the world have used the strength of truth in their lives. Most of them have been realized soul. I can tell you so many names like Abraham Lincoln was a realized soul. Mozart was a realized soul. So many people you can know that they were realized soul, though we do not know they are realized souls. Like our Lord Mountbatten was a realized soul. Barbara Carton is a realized soul. All these people are a realized soul. They know they are realized souls, but they don't want to talk about it because they think that if we say anything, people will think we are trying to push our ways onto them. They enjoy their realization. But realization is no more a private thing. It is no more a private thing. It is a public thing. It has to go to the society. It has to do good to others. It has to help others. It has not to just stick on to your goodness that now you have a good place to live in, you have got beautiful children and a wife, so now you be comfortable. No, you will not be. Like the lady today interviewed asked me, "You have such a nice house, you have such a nice husband, you are so comfortable, so why are you traveling?" I said, first of all, my husband has no objection. He thinks that this is the only way the world can be transformed. Though he is so highly placed in life, he is convinced no use having organizations in the name of United Nations and all that. They are not united. But unless and until the Spirit dawns upon you, you cannot be united. And this is what he has realized. And he says that it's all right. If you have to travel, I have nothing to say because he himself travels so much. He has no objection to do that. He understands me because he has seen the transformation taking place so well. When I was just married, he said, I know that you are something very different. We call it awliya to a realized soul. You are an awliya. and you are not bothered about anything because you are like that. But I can't believe that you can transform others to your state. Cannot. But now he says, I cannot be dishonest anymore. I see the transformation. People have given up all their bad habits, have become such beautiful people. If you see their faces, they're shining like lotuses. You see them at the airport, they stand out by their beautiful behavior, the decorum, the decency that they have. It is such a beautiful life they are leading. I want all of you to lead that beautiful life. But do not keep it for your private use. Do not keep it only for your relations, for your own family, but give it to others. Unless and until you gave, it has no meaning. Now, the third thing that happens to a human being as self-realization comes in, that he becomes the enjoyer of joy. We have no idea of joy. To us, if our ego is pampered, if somebody is nice to us, they give us nice things or something, our ego is pampered, we feel happy. If somebody insults us, we feel unhappy. But the state of joy has no duality. When you do all these things, you are either on the ego or in the superego, moving from one to another. But when you are in joy, you are just witnessing the whole thing. The whole thing just works as a formless joy. But that formless joy has a feeling within yourself also. You get a feeling of that joy. And that feeling, sometimes I describe it as if something very soothing comes over you like grace, and you are filled with that soothing. The whole being becomes soothed. You feel extremely joyous. You cannot explain your feeling. Kabira said, now I have become intoxicated with joy. What can I talk? How can I talk? Is a person who cannot talk when he is eating the nectar of love. How can you talk about it? You better eat and enjoy, because you must taste it. How can I tell you what is this taste unless and until you have tasted it? Supposing I talk to you about something you have never seen, how will you know? So better see it yourself. In the same way, everybody who experiences it will know that it is a thing of joy which cannot be explained. You become a peaceful person, you become a joyous person, and for the first time you start enjoying another personality in its pure form. Normally we enjoy another personality, we think we enjoy, but we are happy with another person because we have some lust or greed or some sort of a relationship with that person, or some sort of a thought that you do not feel the inner being of that person. But when you feel that subtle being, you are so full of joy that you don't know what is happening, how you are feeling it. But for that, you have to develop that sensitivity. Once I was in Calcutta, and we had gone and stayed in a hotel. And normally I don't like to stay in a hotel, but the owner was a Sahaja Yogi, so I stayed there. And the owner came to see me, and he was just touching my feet, because in India the custom is that you must touch the feet of a saint and your guru. So he touched my feet. And there were 3-4 other Sahaja Yogis staying in other rooms. They suddenly felt tremendous joy on their Sahasrara. And they started off to my room, all of them from different rooms. They just came rushing. What's happening, mother? I said, why? We felt tremendous joy. I said, see this one. So they put their hands to him. As if some great fragrance of beauty is coming on them, and they felt, what is happening? I said, look at that. You are also the same type. And then they started enjoying each other. So there is no quarrel, there's no fighting, there's no harsh words, nothing. You even don't talk much, but you are enjoying each other in pure love, not with any lust, greed, or any relationship, these funny relationships that we have developed. Two persons cannot genuinely love. That all finishes off. Thousands of them love each other in such a way that it is really impossible to believe how things happen. There's a Muslim boy who was in Algeria, and in Algeria they fundamentally started taking over, and the boys got very much worried, and they all became communists because they thought this God business is horrible. These fundamentalists are ruining Iran, Iraq, and we'll be also ruined. So They became all communist, about 500 of them, educated boys. And this one was an engineer, aeronautical engineer, very intelligent. He came to London, and somehow or other he came to Sahaja Yoga. He got his realization. And then he went and told them that, no, there is God, no doubt. We have to find him within ourselves. He gave realization to all 500 of them. And now in Algeria, which is a Muslim country, we have many Sahaja Yogis, even some barristers are Sahaja Yogis, so many are there. Because they are people of very sharp intelligence. I find they have that pure intelligence in their heads to see the point, that this is what it is. And now this boy, when he went and told them about this, they were amazed, because they said that this is within ourselves, and one boy can do this for 500, so why not we go across and do it to others? And that's how they are spreading Sahaja Yoga everywhere. So like one seed which is enlightened can go and give a big tree, in the same way one person can give realization to many people, thousands, and you all have to only know your own powers. Do not limit it to yourself, to your family, to your surroundings, but limit it to others. When it comes to others, it works out faster. So you become this joy, the source of joy. Wherever you go, people will like you. They'll enjoy your company. They'll say, this person is so much changed. He's such a beautiful person. How is it he's become so nice? Everybody enjoys it. This boy, particular boy, Muslim boy, he once wanted, his mother wanted to go to Mecca. He said, all right, the Mecca is now in London, let's go there. And he brought his mother to Mecca, that was London, and he brought her to me. And she said, really, I never felt such joy before going to Mecca, the amount of joy I'm feeling here. So he said, that's it, I told you that if you have to have the joy, better come to the Mecca, which is real today. That's what it is that you have to feel that subtle, that beautiful awareness that is within us, just yet to be unfolding itself, which gives us the sensation, the experience of feeling the joy. This is what has to happen, has happened to all of you, but please remember that you have to establish yourself. Do not fritter it away. It's a very precious thing. You must respect your self-realization. Because you don't pay for it, because you have not worked for it, you do not respect it also. It's a very sad thing. But you must know whatever you are today, whatever your being is, has come to there, be without doing any work, without paying for it. And it is so important. In the same way, your self-realization is very important. Tomorrow I'll be leaving for Australia. It's very sad. Every time I leave the place, I feel very concerned. And the concern of a mother is like an ocean that just tries to bubble out with tears, and I don't know what to say. But I leave it to you that you look after yourselves. I'll try to come next year again to New Zealand. By that time, I hope you'll have many more people here who are seekers being saved and whom you'll give realization yourself. May God bless you all. So now we have to just again feel the experience. For about 10 minutes it will work out, and then I hope you'll make it convenient to go to our center. We have a center here, very beautiful center, and we have a person like Brian who is a very good Sahaja Yogi, very well equipped, very learned, and who will help you in every way. We'll give you the address of the gentleman, and you all try to do the needful. You must know that Sahaja Yoga is not for useless, frivolous people. It's not. It's meant for special people. It's a special thing meant for special, and not for people who are cheap, who are frivolous, who are good for nothing. So those who get realization know that you are special people chosen by God. This gift has come to you, and try to develop it. It's not like any other nonsensical thing that you know of, like paying so much money, you become a member and all that. You have to become yourself a Sahaja Yogi. It is within yourself, but it is a state which you have to achieve. Unless and until you achieve your state, you cannot just become mother's disciples or you can wear some dress. No, it is something that happens to you within yourself. So first that has happened yesterday to you, that you became thoughtlessly aware. This is called as Nirvichar Samadhi. This happens when the Kundalini rests on above the Agya Chakra. You did feel the thoughtless awareness yesterday. Now the second state is called as the doubtless awareness, which is called as the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is all written down in all the scriptures everywhere that these things happen. Those who also talk of yoga must know that Patanjali, who wrote the whole of yoga, from which they have taken a wee bit and doing all these practices, has at length, he has described what happens to you when you get into the Samadhi state. The first is the thoughtless awareness and the second one is a doubtless awareness. Now this doubtless awareness is not mental, that you have no doubts, that's not the point. At the doubtless awareness point, you start giving realizations to others, you start curing people, you start knowing the knowledge by yourself. And that is the state one must achieve. Once you achieve that state, then you are perfected. Like a little seed which has sprouted. It's very delicate, and this seed which is sprouted has to be looked after, and that seed has to be taken in such a way that it requires all the attention, all the respect, and then when it grows into a proper tree, you don't have to worry. Then you become the tree of love and compassion, and so many come and sit under this tree to enjoy that beauty that you are. So today again we'll have the same way, the experience we had, to establish our realization. Now I have to make one humble request again, that we have to take out our shoes to touch the Mother Earth. Is important. Just to touch our Mother Earth, we must take out our shoes if possible. It will be a good idea. Now, you have to just put both the hands towards me to begin with. Just both the hands towards me. Now this hand represents the left side and this side represents the right side. Means this represents your desire and the right as your action. So it is you who has to raise your Kundalini. I am not going to raise it. It is you who must learn how to raise your own Kundalini and maneuver the power yourself. So the first thing is to put the left hand towards me like this. Just like this. You have to put the hand towards me like this. On your lap, sit comfortably, putting the left hand on your left lap towards me like this. With the right hand, you have to move. You have to move your different centers, which is very simple. First of all, you'll have to put the right hand on your heart, where resides the spirit. Then you will have to put, I'll tell you later on one by one, on the upper part of the stomach, where resides the principle of mastery, and then in the lower part of the abdomen, where resides the technique, the knowledge of the technique of maneuvering this power. Because, as I told you yesterday, yoga means union with the divine, and another thing, yoga means the trick or the yukti, as they call it, the deftness to handle the power that flows through you, to understand how to protect yourself, how to raise your Kundalini, how to work it out. That part is called as pure knowledge, and that the center, it resides in the lower part of your abdomen on the left hand side. For information, in the universe it is your country New Zealand that works it out. Can you imagine that you stand for auspiciousness? This country stands for auspiciousness. It emits auspiciousness for the whole universe. It's such a great country you are living here that emits auspiciousness. So now you put your right hand on your heart, as I said, then on the abdomen lower, and then you go back again, and then you put your right hand on your neck, on the corner of the neck and the shoulder a little backward like this, because this is very important. Some people do it from this side. Do it from this side in front. You should bring it and press it hard, because this is very important. This center is mostly spoiled in the West because people have a habit of feeling guilty. I don't know why they feel so guilty. So at the very outset, I tell everybody that to tell yourself you are not guilty, because you are the temple of God and you must have full confidence in you. Not to feel guilty at all is very important. You have to sit with a very pleasant disposition that you are going to enter into the kingdom of God. Then the hand goes here, up on the forehead, then goes at the back here, and then this palm has to be pressed on the fontanelle bone area where you had a soft bone as a child, and you have to press it clockwise like this. Now, I'll just tell you in a very simple way, but you have to keep your eyes shut. Please take out your spectacles also, because this helps the eyesight. So please take out your spectacles. Don't put it in the pockets, because you have to put the hand on the heart. So please close your eyes now. And don't open your eyes. At any cost, you should not open your eyes, because this is Antar Yoga. It is the inner happening that takes place. For that, if you open your eyes, then the attention goes out. So please keep your eyes shut till you have achieved your realization. I'll tell you when to open your eyes. Now put your right hand on your heart. Right hand on your heart, and left hand towards me. Everyone should do it. Pay attention to yourself. Don't worry anybody for anybody else. Just now think of yourself. Put your right hand on your heart. Here resides the spirit. So first you ask me a question, a very fundamental question. You can call me Mother, or you can call me Shri Mataji, whatever suits you. Shri Mataji, am I the spirit? Ask a question 3 times. Inside your heart, ask a question. Shri Mataji, am I the spirit? Mother, am I the spirit? This question relates to another thing, that if you are your spirit, you are your master, you are your guide, you are your guru. So now you put this right hand in the upper part of the abdomen on the left hand side and press it. Here is the center of the guru. So now here you ask a question, Mother, am I my own guru? Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own guide? Ask a question 10 times, anyone that you want to ask. 10 times, because as I told you, there are 10 valencies. And once you have awakened those 10 valencies, you become the master, the guru. Please ask 3 times. Now, take this right hand in the lower part of your abdomen, on the left hand side. Lower part of your left hand side stomach. Please put this hand and press it a little bit. At this center resides, as I told you, is the technique, is the true knowledge, the pure knowledge. But I cannot cross your freedom. So you have to say it that you want the true knowledge. I cannot force on you. So please say, Mother, I want true knowledge. Shuddha Vidya. I want pure knowledge. Please give me. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. You have to say it 6 times. This is the way you actually awaken the Kundali to begin with. Please give me pure knowledge. Put both the hands on the ground in a parallel way. Don't touch each other. and please touch the Mother Earth. Sit very comfortably. No, with your feet, Touch the Mother Earth with your feet. Now, with your feet. Say it 6 times. As a request, because I cannot force it on you. You have to ask for it. Now raise this right hand again back onto the upper part of the abdomen. As the Kundalini has started moving, now you have to assert yourself with full confidence. At this point, you have to say 10 times, Mother, I am my own master. Mother, I am my own guru. Mother, I am my guide. Say it 10 times. Assert with full confidence. Put the hand on the right hand side of your stomach, on the left hand side. You put your right hand on the left hand side of your stomach, on the upper part, that is the center for the Guru. So here you have to say 10 times with full confidence, Mother, I am my own master. I am my own Guru. Now, raise your right hand to your heart again. Now, at the point of heart, you have to again assert and accept with confidence and say, Mother, I am the Spirit. Say it 12 times. Mother, I am the Spirit, which you are. Just you must assert. You must accept, I am the Spirit. Have full confidence in yourself. You are not to feel guilty at all, and you have to say that, Mother, I am the Spirit. So the Kundalini rises with that assertion. Now, put the right hand on the shoulder, near the neck, press it hard. This is the center, from the front as I said, not from the back side, from the front. And now press it hard. This is a very important center because as I told you, people who feel guilty have this problem and the Kundalini doesn't rise. So please say it 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty at all. We have to know that God is the ocean of love and is the ocean of compassion. But above all, He is the ocean of forgiveness. He is the ocean. And whatever we may do, He is quite capable and powerful to forgive us. We must learn to forgive ourselves first of all. We don't know how to forgive ourselves. So please forgive yourself and say it 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Because as I said, you are the temple of God. How can you be guilty? 16 times. Better? Still there, please go on saying with full understanding from your heart. Please say it. Because if you have this center catching, it will be difficult for me, for you to get your realization. So please say it from your heart, from your heart. Those who still think they are guilty should punish themselves by saying it 108 times. That would be a better idea. Be pleasant about it. Be pleasant about yourself. Why do you want to condemn yourself for nothing at all? God has not created you to condemn yourself. Now, raise your right hand to your forehead across and press it as if from both the ends, as if when we have our headache we press it. Just press it. And here you have to say, Mother, I forgive everyone. As soon as it works out, I will know that you have said it. How many times is not the point. Press it hard. Mother, I forgive everyone. Now many people feel that to forgive. Yesterday everybody who did not get realization had not forgiven people. I told you that it's a myth. You do not do anything when you forgive or when you don't forgive. Only thing when you don't forgive, you play into the hands of the people who are trying to do you wrong. So why do you want to play into the hands of the wrong people? Just say I forgive and you will be clearly out of it. It's only you who is maintaining that by not forgiving. It's a myth. It's absolutely a myth. But just say that, Mother, I forgive everyone. Nothing is difficult because you are doing nothing about it. Just by saying, what do you do? Yesterday it happened with everybody. I found this was the difficulty. So I hope this time you will make my task easier by really, genuinely saying in your heart, I forgive everyone. Please. Yesterday, as you know, all of you, I had to work very hard for people who could not feel their vibrations because they had not forgiven. Only by saying, I forgive everyone, they got it. Full confidence in you. Please say that I forgive everyone because the Spirit is in the nature of forgiveness. Now you take your hand on the back side of your head, where the optic lobe is. Hold it tight. Here you press it hard. Here now you have to say that, O Lord or O Divine, if you have done any mistakes, please forgive me. But don't feel guilty. You have to just say, because if anything is lurking in your mind, will get out of your mind if you say so. Just say, if I have done anything wrong in the glory of God, please forgive me. Press it hard on both the sides, both ends. Don't feel guilty with this. Again you are coming down by feeling guilty. Please don't feel guilty. That's it. Please don't feel guilty. It's paining me. Please don't feel guilty. Just say, better. Now raise your hand to your head on the fontanelle bone area, on top of your head. And there you press it with your palm and move it clockwise by pressing it 7 times. Here you have to say that you want the realization. Again, I cannot force upon you. So you have to say you want the realization. Mother, please give me my self-realization. You have to ask for it. I cannot force it on you. Please ask for it. Mother, please give me my realization. Now please take down your hand on your lap and open your eyes. Feel the silence within you. Just please put your right hand on the lap. Now look at me without thinking. Just without thinking, you can do it or not. Just look at me without thinking. Now slowly Place the left hand on top of your head about 4 to 6 inches and see if there's a cool breeze coming in. Just move up and down. With the left hand, not with the right, with the left hand first. Right hand towards me like this and left hand. Right hand like this and left hand. With the left hand, you see if there's a cool breeze coming in. Now, change the hand and see if the cool breeze is coming with the right hand. It's there. Now, how to establish it? I'll tell you. Put your hands down, please. And now watch me without thinking. One thing one has to do is to give a protection to your aura. That's a very important thing, which Dr. Warren will show you, how to give protection to your aura. All of you please do it now, and then also how to again and again raise your Kundalini. This is a very small action which you must know. Every time you are going out anywhere, if you want to talk to someone, you can give this protection to yourself. Also, if you want to talk to someone and you find the person may not be helpful, just write his name on your hand and just move it like this 3 times. You can say Mataji, Mataji, Mataji if you like, and then you will be surprised that that man will be a changed person. The situation will change. He will come in your compassion. All right. This is the power of compassion and love which we have never used. What we have used is the power of hatred. Now, first time, because you are endowed with it, you can use it. Now, see how we have to do it. Put the left hand towards me, as he has put it. Or you can show them towards them. Now, take the right hand just on top of your head, like this, once. Now, again, do it from the first, 7 times. 1 is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is, you have given yourself a bondage or a protection through your powers that are flowing in your hand. Left arm is there. It's all right, it will work out. All right. Now, the another thing you have to do is to know how to raise your Kundalini. This is done 3 times. Put the left hand towards the Kundalini, which is, he will show you where the Kundalini is, on the sacrum bone. Now, you move the hand in this way, that it is up, forward, downward, like that, clockwise. And the left hand is to be raised straight. Now, let's try. It's to be done once only, will do. 1. Second time is, you twist it, push back your head, twist it and give it a second knot. Now, third time you have to give 3 knots. Let's see. One, 2, and 3. Now push back your hands and your head and ask a question. Is this the power of Brahma? Is this the power of divine love of God? Is this the power of Holy Ghost? Now put down your hands, please, and see on your hands also. Now you'll feel cool breeze. And you're silent. It's complete peace. Now you are feeling that all-pervading power about which I have told you. This is self-realization. This is the ascent for which you cannot pay anything, you cannot work it out. Now those who have felt the cool breeze on the head or on the hands, please raise your hands, both the hands. I would like to see how many have felt it. Those who have come for the first time may not have felt, doesn't matter. We'll work it out again. So those who have come for the first time, those who came for the second time and have not felt the breeze, please raise your hand.
Those who come for the second time and not felt it, raise your hand.
You didn't feel it yesterday? Not feeling? Why? You are again thinking. Please forgive. Please forgive. What about you? You are again not. Yesterday did you feel?
He's had electric shock therapy.
Oh, you are the one. I know. No, there's a problem with you. All right. We have to solve that problem. All right? It's all right. I now see you clearly. All right. There's a problem. We have to solve that. It's all right. Doesn't matter. All the rest of them have felt it. So those who have come for the first time have not felt, doesn't matter. I think I can try again on them. They should feel. So those who have felt can go through the book and see for yourself what is it. You have understood it very well. And if you have any questions, you can ask. These people are here. You can talk to them slowly. And those who have not felt can come to me. I would like to see what's the matter with them. And then those who, once they are feeling it, then I will see the people who have, or should we have the other way now?
Let the people that have felt it come first.
All right. He says those who have got it should come first, and then the people who haven't got it. Because see, only twice they have been, and all of them have felt it. So it doesn't matter. You will feel it also. But you will have to go to the center and establish it.